Speaking of, wow, this is incredible. So we do have someone backstage, and so this is kind of a surprise from Tom. We have Vernon Wells here.
Oh, hi, Vernon.
Hello, welcome.
Let's put him in the middle here. How about that?
Put him in
Yeah,
the
that's
center
better.
square. Yeah.
That's much better.
Well, I'd prefer it if I had one of the women on each side of me, but hey.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
We can make that happen.
There you go.
There you go.
There, how about
Make
that?
happen.
That's
A lot better. A lot classier now. Yeah.
This is amazing to have you on here. Thank you so much for joining us. We are just getting into this this Story Island and the stars, and obviously we're all fans of yours. But I got chills watching that video the first time I saw it. Really, the passion that you have for this project, Mr. Wells. Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, this has been a dream of mine, as Tom knows, for quite some time. And when we got together and he decided he was going to do this, it was just like, this is the one thing I want to do that I feel will define who I am as an actor.
Wow. You've
Yeah,
done
I'd
so
like to say
much.
he's genetically designed to play this part. It's
agree.
perfect for him. And we were talking today about your show, of course, Zax, and we were trading stories. And Vernon, he does a lot of films. He actually just finished a film down in Australia. He's down there filming it right now. And you worked with a couple of legends. If you want to tell them about it, Vernon.
Yeah, I just got back last night actually from Australia. Flew in. I went down. A good friend of mine. He's a young filmmaker in his late 30s, early 40s, and Travis Bain, his name is. And I met him a few years ago, and it was quite funny actually that the situation between America and Australia when you work with people is so hysterical. I was in Australia. Touring around Australia, doing a mockumentary, if you call it that, of all the places that I love in Australia. And I got a little thing on my phone saying, we've just finished a film, but we have a part in it that we wrote for one of Australia's best actors, Vernon Wells. We have no idea where he is. And wherever he is, we can't afford to bring him back. So if anybody knows anybody that's as good as he is, please contact us. I was like, all right. So I rang them and said, what do you want? And they all like flustered and said, oh, we got this part. So I gave them a day because we had one day off that I could give them. And I went down to Cairns. And we drove out to this place in the middle of nowhere. And they got out of the big lock gate and they got out of the car and they said, this is government property, you can't drive cars in here. This is the way it is. It's pristine. We have to walk. And I said, oh, okay. And they said, so would you mind carrying something with you so we can get in? I said, sure. What do you want? And they said, well, the camera gear would be great. So I'm sort of loaded up with 2 cameras. And I said, so where are we walking? And they said, over that hill. And I said, oh, great. So we walk over the hill and I went, so where's the location? I said, well, it's actually not this little hill. It's that hill behind it. So we walk over this little hill behind it there. And I went, so? And they went, well, we're nearly there. See that bigger one? And I went, they had over 3 very large hills to get into the location carrying all this gear. And I just loved it because I thought, good God, if this was America, there'd be so much hell over them.
Oh, goodness.
They didn't care. They were just doing it. It's like, well, everybody helps. God damn, man, what's your problem? I think you're an actor.
Yeah.
That was sort of my whole introduction to him, and I love him to pieces. He's like Tom. He's somebody who never gives up. He always keeps going, and that's what I love in people. And he had this film he did about a year and a half ago called The Women's Club Face the Zombies, which was all about these old women who have a club, and it's a real thing in Australia. That's they do things for the schools, give books and stuff, and they're having a meeting. and they realize the zombie apocalypse is happening. So they decide to stop it. So they all go out with their walkers and their canes and the whole thing, and they destroy the zombies.
Wow.
And it was just hilarious and brilliant, and it won so many awards. So he decided then he had to get the old guys, thank you, to attack the zombies as well. So he wrote a script for 3 of Australia's better actors, myself and Roger Ward and Tony Bonner. The 3 of us are all around the same age, and we're all pretty much gentlemen of Australian cinema. So he asked me if I'd come down for 10 days and do it, and I did. I went down, we shot it, and I came back last night, and it was hysterical. I had so much fun. But it was good to get back, because while I was away, I saw all the things that are happening with Island in the Stars, and that to me right now is the center of my world. It's where I want to go and what I want to do. And I just can't say enough about it. I have been so amazed at what Tom can put together and what the crew can put together in so little time to show people what we're going to do. I mean, everybody I have shown our book to on what the film is have walked away going, I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to be in this. It's just amazing how it touches people. And I think that's a credit to them, that they have so much heart that they put into it. And everybody involved is so dedicated, which is for the first time in a long time. I mean, back at Mad Max, we were virtually the same. Everybody was so dedicated to the project that we had to do it no matter what. And this is another one. And I can see this coming out and going into a series. It'll be like Star Wars or any of those, because the story is so good and the whole thing is so beautifully put together that we're on our way, baby. Unfortunately, when we get there, we won't be talking to you. But
no, that's good. No, I get it. Well, that's sounds like Expendables with zombies is kind of what you just finished making a little bit.
There's a pitch. There's a pitch.
Yeah, why not?
With zombies. I love it.
Yeah. The chat, everyone here loves you. Tons of love in the chat for you, Mr. Wells. And so.
Sorry, just one thing. My father's name is Mr. Wells.
Okay.
You were not Mr. Wells. You were too young for that title, right?
That's right.
That's right. Too young. And if it's Tom calling, it's, hey, get your ass out here.
That's true.
You could use on.
That's right. So, who is this? Yeah. So, yeah, we have a great team. Vernon's right. This kind of a thing that when you're doing it, communicating the idea quickly and clearly is everything. So many people, when they've got a story, they'll ramble on about what they're doing. But part of our team's responsibility was how do we make it clear what we're trying to do? Because the cleaner the ask is, the easier it is for someone to say, yeah, I get it. I want to do it. I don't want to do it. What we tried to do is hone it down even on the Indiegogo page, where we outlined this is exactly whose story it is. This is the tone that we're trying to go for. These are the various perks that you can get. And it makes it much easier for someone like Vernon and I to sit down with someone and have a consistent message and say exactly this is what the film is. This is our elevator pitch. If you're stuck in an elevator with us, we can tell you in a minute who it's about, what the tone is, and what the basic story is. And it's helped me to go out to people and talk about it, because you find out, okay, I don't need to say that, or I can pare this down. And it's really interesting. The movie's getting better the more you're forced to talk about it, and the more you focus on the people that it's for, the audience that it's for. You're like, you know what? I need to think about that. I've gotten notes from people that I've been like, you know what, that's a really good point, or I should change that in the pitch. You have to be open to that.
That's interesting. I've had kind of a similar experience because I've been trying to write a novel, and then my boyfriend decided he was going to write it for me. And I've been doing the same thing, explaining it to people, and they're like, well, why is this way? And it really makes you think. But the elevator
Yes.
pitch is a great way to sort of streamline your ideas. And I think, like, especially when you're writing a novel, like, people don't talk about it that much. But one thing I learned in film school is that, like, yeah, you got to, like, get the pitch. And we did that a
Yeah.
lot in our class. And you know, you
Yeah.
start rambling and this and that, and everyone's all like, okay, 2 sentences. That's your log line. Go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember at the American Film Market one time, they did it publicly where you could volunteer to go up and pitch to top producers or executives and stuff. And it was hilarious to watch people either turn to mush or just nail it. And you knew, okay, that person would probably get a meeting. And another person, you're like, oh my God, they're talking about the doorknobs. You know, it's like they just go off and spiraling, you know, and it's like crash dive, the red lights going on. And you're like, you're never going to get another meeting.
I
And
know
it's an art form.
so hard. Yeah,
Yeah.
isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
there was whole like classes we would do about that at UCLA, and I'm just like, I wish I would have like taken those ones too.
Yeah. Oh, you took it some at UCLA?
Oh yeah, I was at the
Yeah.
UCLA extension for film school. I graduated from UCLA.
I was their
at,
guest many times there. I taught a
that's so
class
cool.
on writing and pitching and being an indie filmmaker there.
Oh,
Yeah, I had
that's
a
so
great
cool.
time.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
took I did development and screenwriting, and then I was in the directing program, and then COVID hit and I lost my business and had to drop out of college, but it was great learning that, and I think it really just it's helped me a lot with what I want to do and kind of teach me a great many things about storytelling and being
absolutely.
concise and being able to market yourself is one of the greatest things that I learned.
Yeah, that is very true. And something that Vernon and I have been doing a lot is you have to reach out to people and engage their interest right away. And it's in their vested interest to say, I don't have time or do it. But we've been able to open some doors because if you can enroll somebody in it and they see genuine passion, like I see that in Vernon when he's talking about acting, he's talking about telling the story, that kind of authenticity to it really helps because it's very hard, as he will say, it's very hard to get a movie produced.
Oh yes.
It's you guys have so much, like you have Vernon, everything's prepared. You're not just talking about an idea, you have so much art to go with this and a concept and ideas, and you explain them so clearly. It's so well formed already for people. It's already a package, and it's a great package.
If the money dropped on this, we would be wheels down making it in about 4 months. We have
amazing.
the entire team. Yeah, I have a crew that I work with. We have the DPs, we have the composer, we have almost every element. We've reached out to someone already. So it really is a plug and play, like, okay, insert money here. We did it, with Lucinda and Mike Smith, who's my business partner on this, co-owner of Luminactus. We did an extensive budget. We've gone granular with the budget to figure out, okay, in Australian dollars, what's the rate? What are we doing? So that level of preparedness, like you were saying, when I ran into people like, oh, you ended up working with Chris Guest or you end up doing Monty Python, but you're ready for it in a way that I'm not doing it going, if I do this, then that's going to happen. I did it because 2 years ago, I did this budget because one day somebody would be like, well, what's this stuff cost? And I go, here it is. And that kind of initiative is what it takes to produce something independently, because you're not getting the support of a corporation and a bunch of people doing it for you.
Oh yeah, definitely. So I wanted to ask you, since I noticed you had such great visuals and art for your project, I think that helps a lot. And that's something that I kind of learned from doing like racing before I did like film school and stuff. How did you develop all your art?
Well, I started painting as a kid myself, about 10 years old. I did watercolor, acrylics, and things. We had Christopher Schei do the original poster on this. And really the prep work was what kind of designs, what kind of styles did I want to incorporate? Because, creativity is the art of hiding your sources. And so you look at designs for ships, you look at designs for costumes, because it's not just to look pretty, it's how does it help tell the story. And I think Vernon will back me up here. When you get in the right costume and you're standing there on a real location, it helps your performance. You feel it.
It's funny because when you're doing rehearsals or when you're just talking about things, the excitement's there, but there's still not that little thing the minute somebody puts a costume on you and puts makeup on you and you stand in front of other actors, oh my God, it's bam. And I have a problem when fortunately now, I don't have to audition very often. We know who I am. But when I had to audition, I hated it simply because you're in a cold room, much like this, with a camera, and you're talking to a camera, and there's somebody in another room yelling dialogue at you, and you're like, so you can never get that character to come out and work. It just, for me anyway, I find it very, very disheartening. I much prefer to be standing with someone like Tom in costume and makeup.
Yeah.
And when we were doing our wonderful noir, Trouble Is My Business, Tom and I had more time in the two chairs getting made up, discussing the film and what we were doing than we did on set, because we were both in that mood. We've got our costumes on, we're there, and it'd be like, how about when we're doing that thing,
we could run the whole thing. Yeah.
And when we got on set, we'd already gone through it.
Yeah.
So,
when you're directing something like that, you do it twice. You do it in the makeup chair, and you do it on the set. And something that you and I used to do is you'd sit, and while they're sort of transforming you into the character, you could start thinking about it in your mind, and you almost pre-rehearse it in your head. And you can ask all the questions that you don't have time to ask, when it's go time. With a movie, you never have enough time, and you never have enough money, no matter how much money you have or how much time you have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am going to have to do something you're all going to hate.
Oh.
I have to depart. I was actually on my way out to go shopping for dinner when Tom told me. I said, all right, I'll drop on.
It's so good to see you. Yeah.
Well,
This
thank
is
you so
amazing.
much for stopping by.
Agreed. Yes, thank you.
It's more my thank you. Seriously, I'm being serious. I enjoy talking to people like you, because that is what our world is made up of, is people that you understand and people that you can get together with and talk with. And whenever I can talk to people like this, it hits me, and I really enjoy it. And I thank you for the opportunity, and the big lug sitting in the middle in there. For everything that goes wrong in my life, I blame him. Because
That's fair.
Seems legit. Yeah.
Before he came along. But no, thank you so much. I would love at some stage, if you have Tom back and you would like me to come back and do a full show with you, I would be more than happy to do it.
Oh my God, yes.
Oh yeah, definitely. I have so
yeah.
many questions.
And Lucinda says hello.
Yes.
Lucinda says hello. Hello, Lucinda.
Take care.
Ring you, sweetheart. It was a little weird up there. All right.
What with the zombies and all? Yeah.
I'll let you think about that one. Thank you, guys. Much appreciated. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your week and everything. And anytime, I would love to come on.
Thank you so much.
Oh man,
Sounds
thank
good.
you, Vernon.
It's an honor.
It's so
Yeah,
amazing
nice to
to
meet
talk
you.
to you.
Thanks, guys. See you,
Bye-bye.
Tom.
Take care.
All right. See you.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Oh my God.
Nice
That
guy.
was
Crazy.
so cool.
Yeah.
Really, Vernon has so much integrity, so much enthusiasm. The guy just loves acting, and he loves telling stories. So we put this together as sort of an additional, so people can get a glance. This is who you're investing in.
All right. Well, let's give this a look.
Tom hired me to do this wonderful, wonderful film called Trouble Is My Business. And it was a film noir, which I just had so much fun doing. I really enjoyed being around him, working with him. And one day we were sitting around and he said, so tell me, what's 3 films you want to do before you leave this mortal coil? And I thought, wow, we're getting a little personal. But I'll tell him anyway. And I said, well, I would love to play the pirate in Treasure Island. And I would love to play the captain in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, the captain of the Nautilus. About 3 months later, he rang me up and he said, I got something I want you to look at. And I said, oh, sure. So he sent me over virtually the breakdown of Island in the Stars. And I was like, oh, you have got to be jerking me. This is so cool. One of those things.
Internet.
I've always thought, God, I would love to just be that person, you know, get out and be that man. And I got the chance, which was really, really cool. So I am so psyched about it that it's terribly embarrassing to talk to me. I get all carried away with it. He's a multi-layered character. He's not just this cruel, mean, horrible person. And he's not this sort of sloppy, nice person. He's a piece of all of them. There's all these little, it's like cutting an orange into 8 squares. You know, he's 8 of them, and there's a piece of him in each one of them, and all those pieces are always intermingled and being used. And I think that's the fascination with him. The villain to himself is the hero. The villain is doing something he feels is right. Our hero is the villain to him because our hero is trying to stop him doing what he thinks is right. Working with Tom is great. I love working with Tom because we are great friends and we both have the same sense of humor, which is stupid. And we enjoy what we're doing. Tom has that same sensibility that I have, as if you're going to be on set doing a film, make it fun. You're having fun, the other actors are having fun, the director's enjoying what he's doing, directing you. And also the director can actually direct, and that's one thing that Tom can do, he can direct. I mean, even if I hit him in a fight scene, he refuses to go down, I have to continue with what I'm doing. The thing about Tom when you're working with him is he can't speak in English, he speaks in terminology of what we're doing. We've got this spaceship and it's 300 miles long and 60 miles wide and we've got 12 decks. It's like, I only said good morning, Tom. So he speaks, that's what I love, is because his mind is there, you know, when you're talking about the film, Tom just lays it out in front of you. I'm looking forward to beginning the pre-production, and I will be one of the producers with Tom and 2 other people. We have an Australian producer as well, and it's much nicer to cast a film with everybody in that film who fits the part and is the part, because then you believe what you're watching, and that's what we're trying to get, and that's what we want to make. But I get the idea that this is a world that exists and we are going to inhabit it and use it to our advantage to make a film. And just from that perspective, from me personally, I've been in this business since I was, quite a long time. And I know every in and out, up, down, sideways, you name it. I've done every goddamn thing. For me, I think this is the most important thing, is that I can get this material and I can get this stuff with Tom together and I can look at it and go, I have 150% knowledge that this man will make this work.